This is it, Cowboys Nation. This is the moment we have been waiting for, and I am not even going to make you wait another second because what just happened is absolutely historic. And before we get into it, hit that subscribe button right now because here at Blue and Silver Nation, we bring you Cowboys updates the second they drop, and you are not going to want to miss a single thing we cover over the next few weeks. All right, let me just say it because you need to hear it confirmed with your own ears. Jerry Jones has officially signed Mike Tomlin as the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And this is not a drill. This is not some reporter throwing stuff at the wall, hoping something sticks. This is done, sealed, finalized, and the football world will never be the same. I have been covering this team for years, and I have never seen anything like this because everybody, including myself, thought there was zero chance Tomlin would ever leave Pittsburgh. But here we are staring at a reality that seemed impossible just a few weeks ago. And the crazy part is how this whole thing went down because the behind-the-scenes details are absolutely fascinating. According to one report, Jerry Jones did not just make a phone call or send a representative. He got on his private jet, flew out personally, and sat down with Mike Tomlin for what league insiders are describing as a 6-hour marathon meeting. 6 hours of talking football, talking philosophy, talking about what it would take to finally bring a Lombardi trophy back to Dallas, and by the end of that conversation, both men apparently knew this was the move. But here is what nobody is talking about, and this might be the most important detail of this entire story. The level of control that Tomlin reportedly secured in this deal is unlike anything we have ever seen with Jerry Jones. We all know Jerry likes to be involved in everything from draft picks to free agency to what color socks the players wear on game day, but multiple reports are suggesting that Tomlin negotiated final say over the 53-man roster, significant input into draft selections, and complete authority to hire and fire his own coaching staff without interference from ownership. If that is true, and I believe it is, then this is not just a coaching hire, this is a complete organizational shift. This is Jerry Jones finally admitting that the old way of doing things has not worked, and that he needs to trust a football mind to run the football side of this operation. Now, let me break down the contract, because the numbers are absolutely wild, and they tell you everything about how serious Jerry is about making this work. According to recent updates, Tomlin signed a 5-year deal with a total value somewhere between $80 and $90 million, which would make him one of the highest paid coaches in NFL history. But it does not stop there because there are reportedly massive performance-based incentives built in that could push this thing well over $100 million. We are talking bonuses for making the playoffs, bonuses for winning the division, bonuses for reaching the NFC Championship, and of course, huge bonuses for winning the Super Bowl. Jerry is basically saying, I will pay you like a king, but you better deliver a championship. And knowing Tomlin's competitive fire, knowing his track record, knowing everything this man has accomplished, that seems like a pretty safe bet. Let me talk about why Mike Tomlin specifically is such an incredible fit for this franchise, because I think some people might not fully appreciate what this man has done over his career. When Tomlin took over in Pittsburgh back in 2007, he was just 34 years old, and everybody doubted him. Everybody said he was too young, too inexperienced, too unproven to lead a storied franchise. So what did he do? In response to all that doubt, he went out and won a Super Bowl in just his second season, becoming the youngest head coach to ever win it all at that time. That catch in the corner of the end zone against Arizona is still one of the greatest moments in Super Bowl history, and Tomlin was the architect of that championship run. But the ring is just the beginning because here is the stat that blows my mind every single time I think about it. In nearly 2 decades as an NFL head coach, Mike Tomlin has never once had a losing season. Let that sink in for a second. Never. Not one time. No matter what the roster looked like, no matter what injuries hit, no matter what drama unfolded, this man found a way to win year after year after year in a league that is designed for parity and turnover. That kind of consistency is almost impossible to comprehend, and it is exactly what the Cowboys have been missing. Because let us be honest for a second, this franchise has been one of the most frustrating in all of professional sports for the last 20 plus years. They have had talent, they have had moments where they looked like legitimate contenders, they have had regular seasons that got fans hyped up only to fall apart when the pressure got highest and the stakes got biggest. And so much of that comes down to coaching, comes down to culture, comes down to not having someone who could instill that championship mentality that refuses to accept anything less than excellence. Mike Tomlin is that guy. Now, let me talk about what this means for the specific players on this roster because this is where the excitement really starts to build. Start with Dak Prescott because the relationship between a head coach and a quarterback is the most important relationship in any organization. Dak is talented. There is no question about that. He has the arm, he has the athleticism, he has the leadership qualities, but he has also been inconsistent at times and has struggled in some of the biggest moments of his career. Well, think about what Tomlin did with Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. He took a talented but sometimes frustrating quarterback and maximized his abilities, put him in positions to succeed, challenged him, pushed him, held him accountable, and helped him become one of the most successful quarterbacks of his generation. I genuinely believe Tomlin can do the exact same thing with Dak, and if Dak elevates his game to that next level under this coaching, then the Cowboys are going to be absolutely terrifying to face. But here is where it gets even more exciting, because Mike Tomlin is a defensive coach at his core. His background is in defense. He was a defensive backs coach and coordinator before becoming a head coach, and his philosophy is built around aggression, physicality, and relentless pressure. Now imagine that philosophy being applied to a defense that already has Micah Parsons. Micah is, without question, one of the most dominant defensive players in the entire league. A once-in-a-generation talent who can rush the passer drop into coverage, make plays in the backfield, and completely take over a football game. Under Tomlin's system, Parsons has the potential to reach an entirely new level of dominance because Tomlin knows exactly how to use versatile defensive players, he knows how to scheme pressure, and put his best guys in positions to wreak absolute havoc. Micah Parsons under Mike Tomlin is a nightmare scenario for every single offensive coordinator in the NFC, and I genuinely believe he could win Defensive Player of the Year multiple times under this coaching. And it is not just Parsons who is going to benefit. The entire defensive unit is going to be transformed because Tomlin demands a certain standard of toughness, discipline, and physicality that is going to permeate through every single player on that side of the ball. On offense, we also need to talk about CeeDee Lamb because he is one of the most dynamic and explosive receivers in the game, and Tomlin has always known how to feature elite playmakers. Look at what he did with Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh, maximizing his talents, finding creative ways to get him the ball in space, and turning him into one of the most productive receivers of his era. CeeDee is going to be the centerpiece of this offense. Under Tomlin, expect him to be used in ways we have not seen before. Deep routes, short routes, screens, jet sweeps, everything you can think of. Because when you have a weapon like that, you find every possible way to get him involved. Would you be scared if you were an NFC East defensive coordinator right now? Because I would be absolutely terrified knowing what is coming. The energy around this team is about to change completely. The intensity at practice, the standard of excellence, the accountability that Tomlin demands, it is going to touch every single aspect of this organization, from the players to the coaches to the front office to everyone. As Tomlin himself says, the standard is the standard. And in Dallas, the standard is championships, nothing less. Cowboys Nation. I know you have been waiting a long time for this moment. I know you have been through years of heartbreak and disappointment and watching other teams celebrate while your team fell short, but today marks the beginning of something different. Today, Mike Tomlin walked into AT&T Stadium, put on that Cowboys star, and declared that he is here to bring a championship back to Dallas, and if there is anyone in the NFL who can actually deliver on that promise, it is this man. So drop a comment below and tell me how you are feeling right now, because I know the emotions are running high. If you are an Eagles fan or Giants fan